Thanks, Coach.
Ça va. That's all I know.
We. Rick, kind of in a dual role, both as coach of the Pacers and president of the NBCA, you've coached more games against Pop than anybody. How unusual is it for you to play the Spurs and not see Pop down there?
Yeah, he's really an institution, and he's been such a constant. It's different not seeing him, but I've had some communication with him. He's doing better all the time, and the hope is that he'll be back. In his stead, Mitch is doing a terrific job with the team. Brett Brown is an experienced guy that's sitting there with Mitch, who's been through a lot of things, and who was a head coach for 5 years. So that's a great resource to have. And it sounds to me like Mitch is in constant contact with Pop. So I know that the presence is still there.
Thank you, Coach. Next question on the right-hand side.
Yes. Hi, Coach. Welcome to Paris.
Thank you.
Could you tell us about Pascal Siakam? What does he bring to your team, and what are you waiting from him?
Well, has great versatility as a player. Plays both ends of the floor very well. Offensively, he is a playmaker at 6'9". This year, he's shooting the ball from three better than he ever has. He shoots it, he drives it, he shoots mid-range, he posts, he gets to the free throw line, and defensively he has a great diversity as well. He can guard a primary player, and he's great as a help defender and a rebounder. So he does all the phases of the game at a very high level, and that's why he's been a two-time All-Star and a two-time All-NBA player.
Thank you. Just in the middle here.
Hey, Rick. Right here.
Yeah.
As you well know, you've coached a number of players from overseas, and the most famous being Luka. This isn't really about him, but what I'm wondering is, when you get a player who comes from Europe and has been through the development system that they have here, what about that experience for those players here makes them ready for the NBA, especially maybe compared to the American guys?
Well, in Luka's case, he had won everything in Europe. I mean, he'd won every championship there was to win. He'd won every MVP that there was to win. And when you're playing in those European leagues, and there's great national pride involved in many cases, the limelight is so bright, the pressure is so great that once you get to the NBA, there's a great amount of pressure too, but it's a different kind, and in some ways the pressure in Europe and internationally is greater. And so in Luka's case, he was very well prepared to be a great player from the very beginning. In the case of Dirk from Germany, Dirk was much younger when he came to the NBA, and the developmental aspect of the game was so different back then. A lot of things were in their infancy. Dirk had started out as a team handball player, and then he was also a guy that was playing tennis and made a relatively late decision as to whether he was going to stay with tennis or go to basketball. And so then he met up with Holger, and then once those guys got together, things started clicking, and he became a star pretty quickly, but it wasn't as fast as Luka. And so each guy's a little different. The countries are different, but the time periods have had a great deal of influence on all these players.
Thanks, Coach. Next up here.
Hi, Coach. Tomorrow you're going to play against a team with Victor Wembanyama. We often heard that he's able to do things that we've never seen before. I can only imagine that it's really inspirational as a coach. And you're often described as one of the best offensive coach of all time. So I know you don't want to give any tips to Mitch Johnson, but I'm still trying. Have you ever thought about a play or a system that you would do if Victor Wembanyama was in your team one day, or something that you want him to, that you wish him to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, would this be tampering to answer this question? Like I've never seen a player like this. The closest I've seen, was probably Ralph Sampson. And, when Arvydas Sabonis was young before injury, for some of his serious injuries, he was 7'4", Ralph was 7'4", Victor 7'4", but Victor's doing things that those guys, that coaches didn't even think of back then. I mean, they have him handling in pick and rolls. They have him as the handler, and they have a small guy as the roller, and he's throwing hook bounce passes to guys for layups. He's coming off pin downs for threes. That was not happening. Back in when Arvydas was playing for the Soviet team and Ralph was playing at Virginia with the Rockets. So much has evolved with the game, but in watching him, I mean, it's rare to see a guy that might block 3 or 4 shots in one possession, then grab the ball and then go down and put it between his legs and go down and dunk the ball right or left-handed, and yet he makes these things look very routine. And so I'm in awe of his talent, his size, his aptitude for the game, his skill, his feel. And in due time, it's very possible that he'll be the face of basketball. Not just NBA basketball, but world basketball.
Thank you, Coach. Our final question on the right-hand side.
Good afternoon, Coach. Before being a coach, you were a player a few years ago, a long time ago. You played with Larry Bird. How was it to play with him? And why do you think, or can you explain to us why he would be actually very great if he was playing today?
Yeah, Larry was, it was a blast being around him. I mean, I was there for 3 years when I think he was MVP each of the 3 years or 2 of the 3 years. And he was the best player in the world. And he had a lot of fun playing the game. He was an intense competitor. He was a great trash talker, as everybody knows. But he did it in a fun way. It was a fun way. But he was a very serious competitor, and team success was above everything for him, any kind of individual success. So if he played today, I had this question out on the floor from an Italian group, and they asked about, trying to compare the different generations of players and the different eras of players. And there are so many great players now in the history of the league that comparing people from the 2020s to people from the 60s just doesn't seem right. I think if you compare guys within a certain decade as you go along, those conversations to me are more realistic. I was fortunate to be to play in probably the golden age of NBA basketball. It was Bird, Magic, and then it was Jordan a year or two later. And those 3 guys, carried the popularity of the league to, on unforeseen heights. And the league is still as or more popular now than it ever was. And so those guys had a lot to do with it. But being around Larry every day for 3 years, I can't even begin to tell you how much fun that was. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
How is it to be back in this building?
Yeah, it's exciting. excited to be here, sightsee, do all those things. Create more memories with more friends. So I'm excited about it.
I mean, the personal Olympic experience for you was what it was, but still, you were part of a team that won a really contentious gold medal. Do you have that sense of the memories coming back and sort of reliving the celebration from that night when you guys beat France?
Yeah, for sure. Just getting here and seeing the steps where we took the picture. I took a picture of it. I'll probably send it in our team group chat later. But yeah, definitely just lifelong memories, regardless of what the experience was for me personally. I was a part of a group of 12 guys that there's only really 12 of us 12 players that got to experience that. So definitely means a lot, and I'm excited to be here. Excited to actually play in this arena. But no, I'm just excited to be here. It'll be a fun atmosphere and a fun game.
Thank you. Next question on the right-hand side.
Hi, Tyrese. Arnaud Valadon, RMC Sport. You're back in Paris, and you showed some love for the French crowd during the Olympics, and you showed some love for table tennis, and especially the LeBron's brothers.
Yeah.
Do you still follow them?
Yeah, I was. It's funny. I was actually just telling the guys about how good they are. That's funny you say that. I wonder if I'll see them while I'm out here. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. The whole Olympics, just going around and seeing other sports. The LeBron brothers were amazing to see, and just the atmosphere of the French crowd was amazing. Freed from Desire became a song in my rotation after the Olympics for sure, and I'm excited to see what the atmosphere is like tomorrow. Probably not a very pro-Pacer crowd by any means, but I'm excited to be a part of it.
Next question, left-hand side.
Hey, Tyrese. There have been talks about that potential NBA expansion to Europe. So, as a player, would you be open to playing against some of the European teams during the regular season?
Yeah, for sure. There's always a talk where, I definitely view our league as the best league in the world. And there was the whole NBA champs versus world champs comparison, all those things. But yeah, I think every player in our league would welcome the competition of playing against other teams, other leagues. I think there would have to be probably some more advancements in as far as travel goes. I know the jet lag hit me already yesterday. So, but I think guys would be open to it, and if there was the advancements in travel and things like that. If our league was open for it, we would definitely be doing it.
Next question, left-hand side.
You mentioned seeing the steps again. Are the Pacers recreating the photo?
Nah. I don't think I'll even allow it.
It's just,
but to see it is cool.
Just has to stay with
just stay what it is.
Stay what it was, yes.
Hopefully we get it'll become like a national monument or something.
You know that it's not early in the season anymore, and Cleveland and Boston Cleveland really separated itself from the East, and then everyone else is just kind of like there. How critical is it just to get going? I mean, obviously you guys are playing much better of late, but do you see the East as the possibility of moving up a few spots before April, before it's time for things to get real?
For sure. I think the interesting part is, obviously there were some losses last night, but what separates like the 3-4 seed from like the 8-9 seed is a good month, and that's honestly right where we are. We were obviously going through some struggles early in the year there, me personally and us as a group. But we've had a great month, and we've fought to get to where we are, and we just want to have that, continued success the rest of the year. We know it starts for us on the defensive end. We know who we are offensively. We can score against anybody. But defensively, we have to be able to put together enough stops to win games. And we feel like that's where we've really improved the most as a group. We got basically the same team as we did last year, and we've made substantial jumps on that end of the floor. So just continue to do that, and understand every game is very critical, especially your in-conference games. But here we have a great opportunity to play a good team twice and really 2 road games essentially is what it is. And, we just got to keep putting together good games. At the end of the day, our conference is Boston's conference. They're coming off a championship, so somebody's going to have to be the team to take them down. Obviously, Cleveland's having a great year, and they've kind of separated themselves as the 1 and 2 seed in our conference. But after that, it really can be, whoever. It's open for everybody. So we're just trying to keep being the best version of ourselves and see where that ends.
Next question at the back, please.
Hello, Sébastien Jean, Flashcore. You guys just came out from a great season, a wonderful playoff run. As a leader of your team, what was your speech before the season? Have you identified what was the last steps to go further than what you get last year?
Yeah, I think before the season, I think we just stressed as a group that, a lot of people see what we did last year as maybe a little bit of a fluke, and we got a ton of guys on our team who have the motivation that are motivated by doubt. Everybody's been doubted on our team at some point. We got a lot. I mean, you think about it, our whole starting group, are guys who have been traded or second-round picks or whatever the case may be. There's some different things going on with everybody. So, we just want to keep proving ourselves. I think our conversation early in the year was that, and that everybody was saying that this year was going to be, much tougher for us, and let's just be internally motivated and be better. And well, it's definitely been a tougher, early part of the year, and that teams are going to, give their all against us and want to prove themselves, that they're better than us after a good playoff run, and knowing that they got to be ready to play against us. We're not sneaking up on anybody. So that was kind of the conversation to start the year, and I think where we are now is let's just take it a game at a time, and get back to being who we are. And feel like we've done a good job of that this month, but we just want to continue doing that the rest of the season.
Next question up front left.
Hi, Tyrese. Last year, obviously, you guys made it a great run in the playoffs. You played in the Olympics. How much will this growing up has changed you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in the NBA, when you're a young player, I think I think if you just call a spade, like when you're a young player in the NBA, you're just trying to establish yourself, right? You're trying to have some early success for yourself, see how you can contribute, and hopefully get to a second contract. And that's where you really, can take care of, your loved ones and do everything that you set out to do in life. But there's a shift, I think, for young players at some point where everything has to really be about winning, and that's not for everybody in terms of when you first come in the league, it's not about winning. So I don't want to group everybody, but when you're a young player, you're just trying to find your way, and then as you establish yourself, now let's get to winning, and I feel like I really fall in that category. Early in my career, it was about establishing myself, being the best version of me, and now all I care about is winning. Getting to the playoffs and having success there, and we were able to do that last year. But I think our goal is to continue to do that moving forward. And now that I'm on my second contract, the only way that I'm really evaluated is how can I impact the team and how can we succeed? Because in team sports, when you're not having success, a lot of the times it's the head coach who gets blamed first, right? They get fired or whatever the case may be, and then it's the best player, or the guy who gets paid the most. So, for me, I'm understanding of that, and just I want to impact this organization the right way, win games, and and that's where I find that motivation. I feel like that's part of my growth as a person and a player.
Thank you. Final question on the right-hand side.
Hi, Tyrese. Last year was a great year for Indiana basketball, with you guys playing the conference finals, and the Fever becoming huge with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
What's your take about how Caitlin handled the pressure, and how she handled the expectations, and you guys still have the time to follow what the girls are doing with the Fever?
Yeah. Said it many times. Caitlin is amazing. She's, I think for me, getting to actually spend time around her, be around her, get to know her personally, she's just an amazing person, an amazing player. She deals with a lot. There's a lot of rhetoric behind her that she really has no control over, and I think that the way she handles that is just amazing. I think when it comes to the game of basketball, she's probably top 5 most famous people. that are playing right now, just in general. That includes our league as well. And she handles it with such grace, and she's like such a cool person. At the end of the day, she's just a girl from Iowa who's just really good at basketball, you know. And it's really cool to see what she does. And I think the Fever in general, you know, they're like rock stars. You know, they are a big part of the growth behind that league, and they will be a big part of that moving forward because I think everybody can see that there's going to be a lot of success from that team moving forward. You know, with Aaliyah and Kelsey and new coach and new GM Kelly just came from our organization. So I'm really excited to see how they do moving forward. But I mean, she's a superstar, and really one of the first superstars that the W has had at that level, at the level she's at. So to see what she's doing is amazing, and you know, she's become a good friend of mine, you know, over the past year, and anything that I can do to help, I will, but I don't think she necessarily needs my help by any means. She's amazing. That group is amazing, and to see what they're doing for women's basketball as a whole has been really cool, and she's spearheading that. So I'm just glad to be a part of the journey and watch what she does. I feel like I have like a front row seat, you know, with her being in our backyard, and you know, the Fever are doing that amazing.
Thank you so much, Tyrese.
Perfect.
Good luck tomorrow night.
Yep, thank you.
S'il vous plaît.
Bonjour Pascal.
Bonjour.
Qu'est-ce que vous attendez de ces 2 matchs à Paris qui seront regardés dans le monde entier et notamment sur le continent africain et au Cameroun?
Ouais, ça sera 2 matchs exceptionnels, je pense. Bien sûr qu'on joue contre une bonne équipe et on sait que nous sommes à Paris, donc Wemby, les Spurs, ça va être tout le monde va être de leur côté, mais bon, nous sommes prêts. On espère pouvoir gagner. C'est ça l'attente pour nous en tant qu'équipe. Et puis, bon, ça fait plaisir qu'on va jouer à Paris. Certains du Cameroun vont voir les matchs et tout ça. Donc, ça fait très plaisir de pouvoir être ici.
Merci. Right hand side.
Bonjour Pascal. C'est forcément une semaine particulière, très orientée Spurs évidemment avec Wembanyama. Ça crée une énorme source de motivation chez vous, d'autant que vous êtes quand même sur plutôt un bon momentum, une bonne série de victoires, et de dire faire un coup 2 fois de suite à Paris face aux Spurs, voilà, ça crée quelque chose dans votre groupe, une motivation un petit peu exceptionnelle.
Ouais, bien sûr, ça fait genre, nous sommes à l'extérieur, tu vois, donc pour nous, c'est... Chaque fois qu'on joue des matchs extérieurs, c'est le même focus, essayer de pouvoir gagner. Mais bon, ici, c'est un peu extra spécial parce qu'avec Wemby, comme tu as dit, les Spurs, nous sommes à Paris. Je sais que tout le monde va supporter les Spurs. Donc pour nous, c'est un peu de motivation. Mais l'essentiel, c'est juste de gagner les matchs. On a ce même focus-là quand on joue, je sais pas où, dans une autre ville aux États-Unis. Donc c'est la même chose, c'est la même attitude, je veux dire. Et c'est le même objectif, je veux dire. Gagner, c'est ça à la fin.
Thank you. Next question, all the way at the back, please.
Toujours en français. Bonjour Pascal. Au fond, ici. On en parlait évidemment, cette semaine est tournée autour de Victor Wembanyama. Est-ce qu'il y a aussi une attente particulière de votre côté? Est-ce que vous attendez à ce qu'il se fasse peut-être plus que d'habitude, même s'il fait déjà beaucoup depuis le début de la saison en NBA pour les Spurs? Et est-ce que vous avez peut-être un petit plan anti-Wembanyama de prévu?
Bon, on sait que c'est un joueur vraiment difficile à couvrir, de par juste... il fait tout, en fait, en tant que joueur. Donc, ouais, ça sera compliqué. Je pense pas que c'est un boulot qu'on peut faire juste une personne. Ça sera un truc d'équipe. Et bon, ouais, on va essayer de faire ce qu'on peut et essayer de gagner. Et comme tu l'as dit, ouais, on sait que le public sera derrière les Spurs, mais bon, ça va. On est habitué à jouer dans des situations comme ça. Donc, on va juste aller, comme je l'ai dit, même objectif, c'est de gagner. Et c'est ça qu'on va faire. Ou à least, on va essayer de faire.
Thank you. Just up front.
Pascal, do you often go back to Cameroon and do you have projects there, or would you like to have projects there in the future?
Yeah, no, for sure. I go back to Cameroon every summer. I'm super proud, from being from Cameroon and just to be able to put not only Cameroon on the map but also Africa. So yeah, every single chance that I get to go back, I go back. I have camps. I have my foundation, the PS42 Foundation. Like we do everything around education and yeah, every summer I go back and try to continue to just like all the stuff that I've been given in my life, just trying to give back. And no, it's awesome, and I'm super proud to be from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question in the middle.
Hey, Pascal, what would you think of eventually a team in Europe, and from a player's perspective, of you know, not only living on the continent for how many ever months a year, but also the travel that would take involved to play teams in the United States. What would you think of that if there was a team here one day?
Right. Yeah, I think it would be hard. I mean, I think for me, us being on a flight to come here, like that was hard. I was like just for a day. I didn't know. I feel like I was floating. So I think it would be hard. It's a lot of travel. But I mean, hey, if it can happen, I'm sure it'd be cool. And I think for other teams to come to like a European city or something like that, like to play games, I think that would be fun. But I also know that, yeah, it'd be probably challenging.
Thank you. Last question up front for Pascal.
Bonjour Pascal, vous venez de parler de votre fierté de développer le basket au Cameroun. On a vu votre compatriote Joel Embiid jouer pour les États-Unis pendant les Jeux Olympiques et même prendre aussi la nationalité française. Est-ce que c'est quelque chose que vous avez déjà envisagé ou alors si vous devez jouer pour une sélection nationale à terme, ce sera forcément le Cameroun?
Ouais, comme j'ai toujours dit, si je vais jouer pour une nation, ce sera le Cameroun. Bon, jusqu'ici, ça n'a pas pu être possible. Mais bon, ouais, je suis Camerounais et ouais, je suis Camerounais.
Merci. Thank you, Pascal.
Oh,
yes.
it's easy. Thank you.
Bon courage.
I'm in Paris. I think I love Paris a lot. I love the croissants. You know, the city is beautiful.
What do you expect about the ambience for the two matches?
I think it'll be great. I think I'm very excited to see, you know, what Paris has for us. Like I said, it's my first time over here. I'm looking forward to play, you know, to play two games.
You're playing also against a local. You're playing against Victor Wembanyama. Is that like an extra pressure for Indiana?
Of course not. No pressure at all. For us, it's just a regular game. You know, we just get to play it in Paris, and everybody's excited to play the game. So.
What did you think about Canada's performance in the Olympics games?
I mean, it was good. You know, obviously we came short-handed, but we had the opportunity to get out there in LA.
Then what has stood out to you about what you guys have been able to do for the last month or so, especially defensively as a team?
I mean, we've been amazing. You know, I think there's still room to improvement. I mean, we've been great compared to the beginning of the season. We were able to find what was a weakness and, you know, turn it into strengths.
Bennett, you know 4 languages, right? Perfectly. Do you think that those skills of learning new skills were helpful in learning new skills for defense? Have you go for languages probably?
I never thought about it this way, but I mean, yeah, it's super different, but for sure, yeah.
Is there a turning point you felt that you guys experienced that helped now win whatever it is, 18, 12 or 15 or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there's been a lot of moments where you know we were like kind of questioning ourselves and who we were as a team, but I mean, we were able to, you know, to turn it as quick as we could, and I think, you know, we were able to find ourselves at a good time.
How about what you've been able to do individually, taking on a much greater role in the starting lineup, but also the rebounding and what you're doing defensively?
You know, I think it's been good. I think, I said, there's a lot of room for improvement, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of things. Just being able to learn more and experience a lot more stuff. You know, in my 3rd year, and you know, I'm looking forward to have a deep run into the playoffs and, you know, even win a championship.
Do you experience right now a jet lag, and do you think that it will have any effect on your game more?
No jet lag. That's clear. Jet lag.
How do you describe what Pascal has meant to this team since joining it about a year ago?
Sure. I mean, it's been very, very, very important to the team. Obviously, you know, we know exactly what we were getting out of Pascal, and you know, I think we receive a little bit more. You know, as a player and also as a leader, he's been really good to the team, and I feel like he's helped us a lot grow into the team that we have to be for us to win a championship. I mean, he's the only champion on the team, so.
Do you prepare yourself different when you compete against a guy like Wemby? Maybe more shooting, less penetration?
No, I would say probably stretch a little bit more. Going to the rim, I know, you know, you have a guy who's 7'5", just waiting for you at the rim. But like I said, it's not a different preparation. It's for us, it's just a regular season game. That we are trying to win in Paris.
There are rumors of NBA extension potentially overseas in Europe or overseas. Are you all familiar with the atmosphere schools in some towns, European basketball? Would you be kind of arguing your education for it to eventually happen?
For sure. I mean, if you ask me, I feel like it's just expanding the game. Coming from Canada, we have a lot of great players, and I feel like not many players get the opportunity to go out into different countries, to play overseas, or even play in the NBA. So I feel like the NBA, is looking to expand, and it's just gonna be a better thing for the game.
There is very few untouchable people. How does it feel before?
Can you say one more?
I say there's very few untouchable players. How does it feel before the trade deadline?
How does it feel to what?
Before the trade deadline, for yourself and for other players.
Oh, to be honest, it's not anything I'm worried about. If things are meant to happen, things are happening. But it's not a focus for me or for anybody on my team. We came out here for business. Just winning games and eating a bunch of croissants.
What has it been like to share in this, I think, with your family here and maybe have memories of watching the Olympic Games this past summer?
It's been fun. It's my first time, my sister's and my mom's first time in Paris. So, we're just trying to make it a good first time in Paris. Hopefully come back in the future. But, when you really think about it, it's a lot of things that's happening at once. But it's really a blessing just to be out here today, playing the game that I love, and just helping kids believe in their dream.
Last question.
What do you expect?
What do you think about the FGA in the MVP race?
I think it's good for him. I think, him being Canadian, it's great for the country, and Bonjour, ça va bien? Everybody?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're already fluent. How has it been these 2 days? What's your experience so far?
It's been fun, man. This is my first time here. I don't want to say I'm fluent, but I think the biggest one I picked up was "comment ton." That's like how you say that. So that's like my favorite word out here.
What do you think? How does the NBA game in Paris differ from an NBA game in the US?
It's a different experience. You got fans that have never really been able to see us in person. I think that to watch it on TV is one thing, but to actually see this brand and this how amazing our game is in person, it's a lot different. So I'm excited for the fans out here, and I'm excited, just for our own fans back home in Indiana to experience this on an international level.
Myles, there have been talks about a potential NBA expansion to Europe. So, as a player, would you be open to play against some of the European teams during the regular season, and why or why not?
I love it. Yeah, I think it'd be dope. I think there's such a big debate on where the best basketball is played. And I think that there's different styles of plays here in Europe than there is in America. So I'll definitely be open to it. It's more competition. It's good for the brand. It's more viewership, and who knows what potential partnerships come out of that.
And just if you get to choose, would it be under FIBA or NBA rules?
I played both. I don't mind FIBA rules. I like being able to knock it off the rim and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind FIBA rules.
What do you think about the arena? Is it similar to NBA arena?
It's a little bit different. I like the lighting in here. I feel like all the light is on the stage itself, and the crowd's a little dark. It feels like a stage, like you're really the show. And I don't know who puts grass on the outside of the arena. I ain't never seen that before. I think it's kind of dope too.
As a veteran.
Yeah.
But do you think that would be hostile to your team?
I think it'll be a hostile environment, but I think we thrive in hostile environments. I enjoy that. I think that well deserved by Wemby, and he's from here. I think he's a beacon of hope for a lot of the French players and whatnot. So it's cool that at such a young age he gets to come here and play in front of his people. So we know what the environment will be, but at the same time, we use to our advantage.
As a veteran, you have adapted your game to the different styles for many years. Are you working right now on anything particular? Any skill in particular that you would like to improve to become even more complete?
Yeah, I just feel like as a 7-footer, as a center, you have to be able to do a little bit of everything. I've always prided myself in being able to play inside out, but now I just want to pride myself on decision making. Just being a better passer, a better facilitator. I think a lot of bigs you're seeing right now are able to do that. You know, European bigs like the Jokic, Sabonis, like all those guys are able to handle the ball and make decisions. So I wouldn't mind it.
Nice. Which player from the Spurs would you pick to go share a present with, and why?
Share a croissant with? Yeah. Which person would I pick from the Spurs to share a croissant with? I've never been asked a question like that, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
Or a donut if you wish.
Or a donut. I say Harrison Barnes, bro. I feel like he cool people.
Myles, it's kind of a topic question. I'm from the German media. It's
Nice.
A famous physical, trash-talking German guy in the NBA with Moritz Wagner.
Yeah.
Did you make any experience with him in the last couple of years that you could tell us about?
I personally haven't had too much experience, in that regard. I think that he's a good player. I think he's definitely, he's improved. I wish him a speedy recovery, just with his, recovery and all that. But both those guys, man, Franz, he's a hell of a player. Those guys are able to go out there and hoop. So, yeah, I give them their flowers now. Wunderbar, right? That's German? Yeah.
Next question.
You're a really good shooter from outside. Is it a weapon when you face a guy like Wemby?
Yeah, I've always, like I said, I pride myself in able to shoot on the outside. He's someone that's able to protect the rim. So if you can pull him away from the rim as much as possible, it's more of an advantage for us. But, we have to see what happens.
All right. Thanks, Miles.
All right. Merci beaucoup.
Different vibe than America for sure. I think the food is nicer.
Let's do it.
I haven't got to experience it too much. I just kind of hoop when I get out.
What type of food?
Type of food, I like Italian food a lot.
It's good to meet you guys.
What is this trip good for?
The trip is good for team bonding. I think it's a good trip for us to come together even more in the long season and get some more wins.
Is it more business or fun?
I'd say it's more business, for sure. Try to find a little fun in there, but I felt winning the game is not going to be as fun.
You were at the Eiffel Tower yesterday. What was it like?
It was a cool experience. I've seen it before this summer when I went to the Olympics, but it was nice to see.
What was your flight? Do you suffer from jet lag symptoms?
A little bit. You fall asleep at weird times, waking up at different times. It's all good.
Tell me, what is it like to play against Victor? His height and so on. We all know the problems.
Yeah, no, he's different. He is. Poses a big problem, shot blocking and defending and switching out on that side of the floor. And then offensively, he can do a lot of different things, where it's stretching the floor, deep three, bringing it to the rim, off the dribble, coming off ball screens. He's very unique, and he can come off pretty much any action in the basketball.
Are you planning to return here on holiday or anywhere in Europe?
Definitely might take a trip here during the summer. Bring my family out here, spend some time with them. It's beautiful out here. So.
Do you follow any other sports, soccer, for example?
Not heavy, but my girl used to play soccer, and she makes sure I'm up to par on everything. But we're going to a game tonight, I think.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Yes, sir. We're going to see that tonight. So.
Was she a good player?
Say it again. Was she a good player? She played at George Mason. She played middle, so she was pretty good, I think. Yeah.
You know the World Cup of soccer is coming to the US next year.
Coming where?
World Cup is playing in America. Soccer World Cup will be played
we're in LA, right?
No, that's the Olympics, but the World Cup will be played all around the US, Mexico, and Canada.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, sir.
Can you say hi to the Romanian fans? Salute.
Salute. Yes, sir.
Wish we have a little bit more time, but I've been shopping, moving around the city, walking around, just seeing all the different architects and just a lot of different things.
How is the feeling of playing against Victor Wembanyama in his home soil here?
Oh yeah, that would definitely be fun for sure. Definitely a lot of talent on that guy, so especially in his home soil, so it should be fun.
Is it like an extra pressure?
For who?
For Indiana Pacers.
Oh no extra pressure. I mean, it's just basketball. At the end of the day, we've been doing that since we were about 5-6 years old. So.
What do you know, or what do you think about the atmosphere so far? Because they're talking about the rumors about NBA extension, more games in Europe. Have you been watching European basketball? Is atmosphere kind of like soccer fans, a bit crazy? What do you think about it, and would you be interested in?
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in that. I mean, just the energy, the vibes, the excitement. I mean, it's a long NBA season, so to be able to get out the country, experience a new environment like this, and then still play the game you love, it's been awesome.
you're getting more complete every day, complete basketball player. But if you could pick any skill from any of your teammates, what would it be and from whom?
I would take Obi's bounce.
That's nice.
I'd take Obi's bounce for sure. I'll be alright with that.
Jarace, which part of your skill set do you think you have to improve to become a better player?
Right now, I would say just the in-between area. I feel like I shoot the ball pretty well. Still working on getting to the basket, but I feel like just that mid-range area, just mastering that and focusing on that for sure. We good to go?
Any other question?
What do you think about those youth? Have you been to the youth clinic with your players from Pacers?
Nah, I didn't make it to that one, but they said they had a great time there.
They
So
will teach you some things because they've done a lot.
yeah, definitely. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Jarace, it's an off-topic question, but we have a really famous player in Germany, a famous trash talker who's really physical, Moritz Wagner. Did you make any experience with him in the past, in the last 2 seasons you could tell us about?
Nah. He's been cool on the court with me at least. I don't got no experiences with him, but I mean he's a real good dude from what I know. Talented player, so no smoke with me and him. We good. We good.